we make the arrest on the 23rd. Can you talk to them a little bit about how we were able to, we did get word out to our officers, obviously. We were focused on those areas where they were happening, but then also in talking with the cab companies themselves.
That's correct. The cab companies involved were extremely helpful, and we were in basically constant communication with them. And in fact, at one point, they were suspicious that they were being lured to another robbery. They contacted us, and we were able to intervene in that situation. And it did turn out later that was the suspects who had attempted to contact them. That was late Saturday evening. We were able to move forward with the case from there.
When you say lured, can you explain what that means exactly?
Sure. In these situations, they were calling for cabs, contacting cab companies, having a cab respond to them, pick them up, and then take them to a location. When they got to that location, they were robbing the drivers or attempting to carjack the drivers, or in fact, in one case, they took the cab driver's vehicle.
And so how could they tell that this is a case where we were going to be lured into something? What was said, or was it the location? I
think it was a mix of the location and the way the cab was requested.
And when you say officers intervened, what did that intervention lead to the arrests or just help to the eventual arrest?
It helped towards the eventual arrest. We weren't able to make an arrest that night, but fortunately the driver in that case wasn't robbed, and we were able to move forward with the case from there.
So I went and talked to some cabbies today about their concerns. It's interesting that you don't have any more open cases, because this used to be, it seemed to me, more rampant. But what do you say to cabbies who work in fear? I mean, we talk to these guys and they say they like to provide a service, they like what they do, but fear is a constant daily thing. Is there a message from these arrests, or what do you say to the cab drivers out there about protecting themselves from situations?
So this is in particular why the chief wanted to make sure that we got the word out about these arrests, because we don't want taxi drivers living in fear. And I think the fact that we were able to make these arrests so quickly really should bring comfort to the taxi cab drivers in our area. We worked hand in hand with the cab companies in this case, and with this case that we dealt with yesterday, where we had the shooting and then the carjacking 2 hours later in another area, and we had those two 17-year-olds identified so quickly and behind bars before the 24-hour mark had hit. Really goes to show how aggressive the investigators are on this. And I think that should be proof positive to the community that we are serious about these crimes. We take these crimes very seriously, and we will go and find those responsible. Again, I think that one of the things we would love to tell the cab driver who currently is recovering, that we have found the people responsible for putting him where he is right now, and that he is in our thoughts and prayers, and that we hope that he makes a quick recovery. But in the meantime, we're going to make sure that the men who did this to him face justice.
And also
cases, or how many incidents for each?
We have two. We have two here, and we have at least 3 cases here.
So 5 victims of people who give rides to folks, and they're all cab drivers, not Uber and Lyft.
Correct. So that was a correction. At first, we had said Lyft.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
it's definitely all cab drivers.
So the ride-sharing services require a phone, an app, credit card, and identification, and all that stuff. Is that just a safer way to go about it for these drivers? I mean, is there a difference? Because we're not hearing, we're not hearing about them getting.
Sure. I think there are elements, built-in safety elements, just due to credit cards and some contact that has to be made in reference to those. However, anytime someone is in any type of business like that, I do feel like there can be some risks, but I feel like cab companies and those other companies are all making efforts to make it safer for their drivers.
And we've seen cases where, historically cases where a shared ride driver has been targeted, and I know you guys have reported on them. I used to report on them. So just because you're behind the wheel of a Lyft or an Uber doesn't make you necessarily more safer than somebody who's driving a cab, but that seems to be the victims in these particular 2 cases.
Can you all speak to motive? Is it just about the cash, or is there something deeper going on here where you have these kids targeting?
They may think they have an easy target and they're going after cash. We're sending a message now, these are not easy targets and you will go to jail. So if you think that this is an easy way to go and an easy way to make some quick cash, they really do need to think again and look at these arrests and how quickly we made these arrests, and think again before they attempt to do something like this. Any other questions? Good?